Hello there, welcome to the Friday demo, the last Friday demo of the year. Can't believe it. Next week is, I guess we're in that, kind of week in between the Christmas and New Year's. But we're going to take next week off, so hopefully you can enjoy yourself and have a whole lot of fun with your friends and family and all your new toys that you get for Christmas. So, but this is going to be a fun, relatively quick, pretty straightforward final demo of the 2022, which is crazy to me. I'm going to be pouring over an old painting that I'm not thrilled with, so we're going to try to get something a little bit better, which will be fun, and we'll see what we get. So I have got kind of a, I guess you could call it an icy color palette, kind of a snowy blue analogous color palette that I'm gonna do a floating flip cup on. So one of my favorite techniques, a little Christmas present to myself, I think. So let's dive right in and I'll show you the colors we're gonna be using and we'll get on with our demo. So I'm gonna flip the camera over here. And here we go. So I've got a 16 by 20 canvas. This is, I like it, it's okay. I'm not super thrilled with it though. So we're gonna pour on top of this one. And here are my colors that I've put together. It's an analogous blue and kind of white and silver, kind of snowy, snowflakey color scheme, which I kind of like. So we have our white right here. I've got some base coat white as well, but this is our white, and I've got some golden fluid titanium white for this one. And silver, this is just regular old Artist Loft silver over here. I have got this beautiful blue-gray color from Amsterdam, which I really like using a lot. And that's what's in here. It's kind of reminds me of a stormy, snowy color. And then over here we've got a custom color I kind of mixed up. I mixed together some Payne's Gray and some metallic blue. So it's a kind of a dark metallic-y, kind of a navy blue color. I kind of like this color a lot. So we've got dark and a couple a light color and a couple mid-value colors, and we're going to put them all together and do a floating flip cup. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to move these out of the way. I hope you had a great week, everyone, and you're looking forward to the holidays. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. If you're traveling, stay safe. I think it's going to be crazy out there, so do your best to get to wherever you're going safely, I hope. So here we go. This is our it's a panel that I've worked on before, and we're just going to pour right over the top. So actually, before I do that, let me layer my cup. That's probably the place to start. So I've got a big cup right here. This is a floating flip cup. I've got it all prepped and ready to go. Oh, excuse me. About 12 ounces of paint is what I'm going to be needing in here. And let's go ahead and layer this up and we'll see what happens. So I'm going to be using my white first. Just pour some of this in here. This is just my easy formula, 2 parts Floetrol, 1 part paint, a little bit of water. And I've mixed it to the number 3 consistency, the slight mound consistency. And I'll put a little white in next. And some of our dark. And we'll go ahead and see what happens here. A little more white. I want a lot of white in this one. Kind of a snowy kind of color scheme. A little bit of our dark blue. Maybe a little more white. There's some more silver. Yeah, I'll go back to our kind of blue-gray color. Some of our kind of metallic-y Payne's Gray. And let me get the rest of my white out. Where did my knife go? Just put that in there. And I have some more in my cup for my base coat. I could pour that in too. I might pour a little of that in. And we could also do a little bit of high pour. Just let that shoot in there. Maybe a little more white. I'll do a little high pour of the white. I like that. That's going to kind of mix things up inside our cup there. A little more of our dark blue, and then put the rest of our silver in. I'll just scrape the rest of this in. There we go. And I think that's pretty good. We've got our 12 ounces. For our 16 by 20, I'll move those aside. Let's set this off to the side here. And let's go ahead and put our base coat on our old painting. Something just like that. And let's spread that out. Base coat is made with the same formula, 2 parts Floetrol, 1 part paint, number 3 formula, which is my slight mound. So just a slight mound when the paint streams off the stir stick back into the cup. And we just kind of need a relatively thin layer of white. And then I'm going to put a little more in the center. And I'm not worried about the edges. Those are all going to get covered during the tilting process. And there we go, almost there. Some of this paint up top here. Almost got it, and there we go. So covered our panel. Oops. And I'm going to move the excess paint kind of in the center. That'll kind of be the beginning of our puddle. We want a little puddle to flip our floating cup in. That looks pretty good. I'm going to put a little bit more right in here. That looks great. Now we could also torch that if we want. If we've got some air bubbles. Give it a little torch. Okay. And I need my flipping tool. Here we go. I got my flipper, and we're gonna stick this right on top of our cup. Flip the whole thing over, and we're gonna just dump it right. We're gonna transfer the cup right into that puddle of white, which is kind of hard to see, but there's a puddle about this big right here in the center. We're gonna do that kind of quickly, so I'm just going to pull out my tool and just let that cup drop right down. I'll let that sit there for a second, and I'm going to flip the camera over. Give you a little bit better view when we pull the tab off our cup. There we go. And I think we are ready to go. So I've got my little tab here. I'm going to pull this off, and then the paint will flow out. And we're already getting some cool cells and things over here. So let's see what happens. Ooh, it's looking good. Then I'll just lift this gently, let a little more paint out. And that's pretty much it out of the cup. So we floated it around a little bit. I just love the way the paint flows and moves together with the floating cup. It's such an organic, beautiful kind of blending of colors. It's just one of my favorite techniques. So I'm going to lift the cup straight off. And we've got a pretty cool center here happening. I'll flip the camera back and you can kind of see what's in there. And so we got this is the center of our cup. I like it. I'm going to twirl a little bit though, I think. I'm going to put the cup right back and give it a little twirl. I just want a little extra movement in there, and that I quite like. So we got kind of this swirling effect happening in there, which is pretty cool. We've got cells happening. So this looks like a pretty good start right away. So I'm just going to let that sit there for a minute and just wipe off my palette knife. And letting it sit for a moment just kind of lets things develop, lets the paint kind of equilibrium. I can't even say it. What am I trying to say? I can't even remember the word. Anyway, it's all evening out. We'll say that. Oh my gosh. Too many ginger cookies today. So, okay. So that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and start tilting this. And I'm going to just expand the paint puddle. Now at this stage, if you're doing one of these, you could also do some lip drags or finger drags, something like that. I kind of like the way this is looking without manipulating the paint puddle at all. So I'm just going to let it kind of go, and we're going to just tilt it and see what happens. It's kind of a stormy painting. I'm going to turn this around. All right, so we've expanded the paint puddle over most of the panel. Now we're going to just pick a corner and start tilting. So I'm going to tilt off of this corner first. There's a lot of paint right there, so let's go ahead and do this one. And there's no real corner you should start with. I'd kind of work with the less interesting corners first. And then move over to kind of the more exciting corners last. That looks pretty good. I think I'll go over to this one next. And let's move the paint down there. Go kind of slowly. And kind of pour right into that silver section and then pour back. I like that. Let's turn it again. And then go over on this side right here. Just taking my time, letting the paint kind of get down there on its own. I'm in no big hurry. Gonna tilt a little bit more off of there. Right there. Looks good. And then tilt back. One left, so let's go ahead and cover that corner. It's looking very oceany, like a very turbulent, stormy ocean. Just kind of cool. I'm going to keep some of this blue, if I can, that dark blue. So again, I'm just kind of letting the paint move on its own, keeping an eye on that blue so I can kind of tilt back quickly There we go. And just to tilt that back and we'll keep that blue corner, which is kind of cool. All right, let's take a look at what we've got. So we've covered everything. That's the second phase of the tilting process. And so far, so good. Now we can just take a look, see if there's anything else we'd like to adjust. I'm gonna just just look at it for a minute and see if there's anything I want to change. And, oops, let me get it in the frame here. And Novala has got the word for me. And the one I was struggling with, equalize, that is it. Thanks, Novala. Appreciate the help. Oh, let's see here. Okay. So I really like what's happening. There's not a lot I would like to change, really. The only thing that I'm noticing, this is compositional stuff. We have this big white kind of band right here, but it's right in the center. And I don't really love that. So I want to try to move that somewhere else. Over to the side, up, or over here maybe. I think I'll maybe move it down here. We've kind of got a, this is more of a kind of blank zone down here, which I like. It's an area of rest, but we've also got a couple other areas of rest up, like up here. So I think I'm going to move this, shift it down a little bit. So I'm just going to turn the panel and just let this paint just kind of move on its own. Just changing the angle here as I let the paint move. So some of it's coming off the edge. I'm going to kind of go backwards this way a little also. There, I think that looks a whole lot better. We've kind of shifted that over to out of the center of the painting. I like that more. I'm going to just kind of tilt it this way a bit. So these are all just pretty fine adjustments, nothing really major. And whenever I tilt one direction, I kind of want to move the paint back, kind of more, get it away from those edges. Just kind of even them out a little. And there we go, I think. Just a little bit more. I think I like it just like that. So I'm going to call that a completed painting. I really like it. So pretty simple color palette, just analogous. Some different blues, some silver, some white. We're getting some kind of pearlescent or pearly cells coming up here. That's some of the white paint kind of popping up through here a little bit. It's not crazy like pearls, like a pearl pour, but just little tiny like specks of white happening, which is okay. I like that. It kind of fits in with this entire kind of color scheme and all the different effects we have. So I quite like it. I'm going to just turn it around and just take a look at it from the other angle, different perspective. I think that looks pretty good too. I don't know which direction would be up or down, but I kind of decide that after the fact, after it dries. But yeah, I like that one. I think that's fun. It's a cool painting. A stormy painting for a stormy season, I guess. So, all right. So let's see, any questions about anything, the colors, the formula, my cookie recipes, any questions, feel free to throw them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. And let's see, I'll flip back here. All right. So I think that turned out pretty good. A good last demo of 2022. That's always nice. So pleased about that. And we definitely have a better painting now than what we started with, which is always the goal, which is great. So I really, really like this one a lot. So let's see here. And we've got, hey everybody that's joined us since we've started. Let's see, I'm just checking to see if any questions might have come in while I was doing my thing there. And nope. Let's see here. Oh no, I was saying cookies. Yes, cookies. I've been baking some cookies the last few days. I've been eating too many of them also. So that's the problem with baking them. So, but let's see here. All right, so no questions. But okay, well, I hope Navala says, I think it's one of your best. Thank you so much, Navala. That's awesome. I'm glad you like it. I really like it too. It's simple colors, and simple color schemes usually produce some very nice paintings. Not always, but many times. I enjoy doing kind of simple analogous color schemes. And only 4 colors, so it's always great. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Well, that is it, I guess. It was a pretty fast one. We just kind of whizzed right on through that one. But no other questions? Well, I wish you all a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year. Next week, we're going to take next week off from the membership and demo time. So just enjoy yourself, have fun, do some painting if you get any time to do painting. Maybe you get some Christmas paints that you can try out. That would be awesome. And just enjoy yourself and travel safe if you're traveling anywhere. So thanks so much for joining me, everyone. I will talk to you next year. I can't believe that. And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I will talk to you all again really soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.